Good Monday morning, huh? What am I so chipper about, right? Most people dread Mondays. I don't. Just another day of the week. So, I thought a couple things that we could talk about today would be starting a business. So, this is going to help you new guys that are trying to figure out where your niche is. And this might help some of you older guys that are looking at getting into a part-time job or, creating a part-time job. To you guys that are looking for you've always wanted to be self-employed and you just never had I'm not trying to say fear, but just never had the time to actually pursue it. But what are the key things in any business? What would be your number one thought with any business? See, the key thing, to me anyways, is simply finding a solution. If you can find somebody a solution to their problem, and it's got to be a somewhat common problem. It can't be, a hit or miss. What do I mean by a hit or miss? I mean, you may get one job and then you don't see anything for 2 weeks. It's got to be something that, gradually grows over time, that more than one person is looking for that solution. So what could that solution be? Well, if you just listen, like with us guys that are in the lawnmower business or small engine business or farm repair business, it's something's broke. I don't know how to fix it. And it's got to be affordable to be fixed. See, you can pick things you could provide a solution, but the cost of providing that solution is so high that it's not worthwhile to that other person to have you fix it. Excuse me. So it has to fall within the realm of providing a solution to a problem that is affordable. And only you know your area and what is affordable. And when we say affordable, for us in the repair shop, it's an hourly rate. Or doing flat rate on certain jobs that only should take just so long. But just look around your community. Look at some of the things that you're having somebody else do for you, and why. It's because hopefully they're providing you with a solution and it's affordable, so you're paying them to do it. Could you do it? Yeah. If you want to take the time to learn, to this, to that. But in the end, it's cheaper and less bothersome to have somebody else do it. I talked about my accountants. I have one for payroll because it's not that I can't learn payroll. I don't want to learn payroll. And there's too many changes. It's like my second certified public accountant that handles my year-end taxes. I do the day-to-day stuff. I do the year-end stuff. And then I hand him the numbers, and then he runs with it and plugs it in and puts in any new form that need to be put in or declaration or what have you. Could I learn how to do that? Yeah. But I don't want to. Because it's cheaper for me to hire him and to hire her than it is for me to be stressed out trying to figure it out. and it's ever changing, ever evolving. When I did a lot of web development, web pages and stuff, and e-commerce sites, it wasn't that people couldn't do what I was doing. It's that most people either didn't have the time, or they just, it didn't interest them to stay with it to the end. And I used to tell my customers, it's not that you can't do it, it's just that it's cheaper in the long run to pay me to go do it. Because, to build a website, I could do it in about an hour, hour and a half maybe, and have it knocked out if it's just a 3-4 page website. The bigger it gets, the more expensive it gets, because that's the more time I got to spend on it. The more functions you want in it, functionality out of it, whether you want YouTube feeds going to it, if you analytics, you want, the sky's the limit as long as you have the money to pay it. Somebody out there can do it. And that was a good niche for a while, because a lot of people, it was too much effort to try to figure out how to do it in the early days. A lot of it was just HTML, and that's, you're building it on the back end in code and then viewing it on the front end. And then the same thing with databases, building them on the back end and then looking at them on the front end, what they look like. So that would be my suggestion, would be, if you're looking at starting a new job, today's just as good as any other day. Don't be a procrastinator. But I also don't want you to take the leap without making sure that you have all your bases covered. I don't want you leaving a $50,000 or a $60,000 job on a whim that it might work. The better plan would be to, most jobs that I know of either work 4 or 5 days a week, 4 10s or 5 8s. Use your other time after work and on weekends, or during the week if that's when you have your days off, to try implementing some of the things that you want to try. And that way you're not going to put everything at risk. They say that the ones that make the most money are the ones that take the biggest risks. Yes and no. The ones that took the biggest risks have had the most failures. And they've learned from their failures. I don't worry about risk, because I know that no matter what happens, I'll land on my feet and I'll be doing something. But as we get older, we want to minimize that risk. We don't want to be for all or for nothing. And the other key thing is, it's got to make you happy. Whatever you're going to do, you damn well better enjoy doing it. Because if not, I don't care how much money you'll get or what the job is. If you're not happy, it's not worth it. No. So don't chase the money. I would try to find solutions to people's problems in the area that you enjoy. Are you a people person? If you're a people person, then you can look at sales and service. If you're more of a hands-on, get dirty kind of guy, you might want to look at being a mechanic, but then you're going to be working for somebody else. But that might be a way of working part-time for somebody else before you take the plunge of buying your own shop or renting your own shop and stepping out and trying to get customers. See, that's the problem with any new venture that you start. It takes years for people to know you're even there. And that's with radio, TV, newspaper, Facebook Marketplace, Facebook ads, Google ads. It takes years for you to get noticed. And 9 times out of 10, the person that's there that's interested in what you have to offer is from word of mouth. So you can't charge top dollar when you first start out. You need to get business coming in so you can show that you can do the business. So it's like anything in life. If you could provide a solution. Now, I'm not saying that it's like a relationship where somebody comes to you and they're talking about a problem they have and you decide you know the solution and you tell them you can fix it or you try to fix it. Usually blows up in your face, don't it? Yeah, because that's not providing the solution I was talking about. In that case, what you have to do is just have really good listening skills. And a lot of times when I find, I just zip it. A lot of times while they're talking to me and they're vocalizing what their problem is, they come up with their own solution. And I allow them to come up with their own solution because I don't want them pissed because they tried mine but they didn't follow every step of the way and it didn't go well for them. Whereas if they think out their own solution while they're verbally talking and they try it and it doesn't work, then they have to find a different solution. Versus hating me because I told them I could figure out how to solve their problems. Another option, as far as providing a solution, would be to look at businesses that are already established. That will save your 1, 2, and 3 years of being a new business and being found to one that's already recognized, hopefully, and is doing a decent job. But before you go guns blazing and jump into that, you have to look at their books. You have to see if it's profitable. And it may not be profitable, but you can see a way to make it become profitable. Different thoughts, different ideas, different solutions, different product line, different. I mean, but if I'm going to buy somebody else's business, then it's going to be based on the amount of revenue that business is producing, not the gross. I want to know what the net is. I want to know how much profit is coming out of that business. Now, I'm smart enough to know that most businesses will try to write as much stuff off as they can. And that's legally, you can do that. That's fine. But I take that into consideration that, if they've got a lot of write-offs and a lot of depreciations and stuff like that, that tells me they got the income coming in and they're trying to find places to spend it to not have to give it up. So just looking at the total net profit is only one part of it. And then you have to see yourself in that role. And hopefully it's a business that is still going. And it might be a smart move to go work for that person to start out with, or to retain that person if you're buying the business until they've shown you the ropes of how things work. A lot of businesses do that. We have in our area a guy that started out selling cattle feed, and then he got into lumber, and then he got into roofing, and he grew a pretty decent sized business. You know, he was a graduate of MIT, and he just needed to get away. He was too much IQ. And I've got a good friend that Andy that's the same way, that their IQ is so high that it just drives them crazy. So they try to find the simpler life. And they're usually not too social because they tend to be antisocial. But this fella, he took and he built a business. And then he took it to the next level of he bought the machine that actually made the roofing. He'd have the sheets come in different colors, and it'd be on a great big roll, and he'd run it through this mill and cut the metal to lengths for roofing. Well, he's up in his 70s. He decided to get out, and he sold out for a considerable sum. But he was making money, you know, it was profitable. But what the couple did that bought him out, asked him to do, was to stay on a minimum of a year. And for that year, to help them understand how he is running the business so that they can continue running the business that way. And that's a smart move. You know, I know a lot of guys that are like mechanics for mechanic shops where they will buy out the owner and become the new owner because they know how the shop works. But the key is finding a solution. It's affordable and something that you're going to enjoy, and not putting all your eggs in one basket of risking it all or nothing, and then not having the fear holding you back from trying to do it. Don't be the person that gets older and looks back on their life and has regrets. You know, my daughter, she just applied for a new job within her company that she works for. And she was really, really nervous, and she wasn't going to apply. I said, why wouldn't you apply? Well, I'm afraid that they won't want me. Okay. But what if you don't apply and they thought you were the perfect fit for that job? The worst thing that's going to happen is somebody's going to say no. And being told no should not be the end of your life. I would rather take the risk and be told no than not take the risk and regret that I probably could have had that job. So in the end, she applied, and she's still waiting to hear. But that's how you have to be. Stop fearing taking some risk. Life is full of risks. Even the job you have right now, if you're employed by somebody else, there is risk that that company could shut down. So you're always assessing risk on a day-to-day basis. It's just how much risk you're willing to be comfortable with. If you work for a company that every day the boss is saying we're going to have to close our doors, you know, that's more risk than you may want to handle. I mean, that's just an example. But anyways, you guys have a great Monday, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow morning. I've been reading through all your comments, answering a good majority of them. Great comments. Thanks for helping each other out. Where I miss something, you guys bring it to light. That's exactly what I want. This isn't my channel. This is our channel. And I started doing some fix-it videos, just mild ones. That I don't want to be doing a bunch of videos that everybody's already been done. It's kind of like beating a dead horse. Ain't going to help you any. If there's any content you want to see covered on the channel that you have questions about, ask. Worst I can say is no. Right? Alright, guys. Enjoy your Monday.